Hey, first of all, if you didn't bop to that, I don't know. There's something in your soul. There's something wrong with you, man. So that joint still go hard. I don't care what anybody said. That joint still goes hard. Picture it: Brooklyn, the 1980s, Saturday night. A young Jit who was spending the night at his grandma's house on his father's side sneaks down to his grandma's basement well past his bedtime, wearing red footy cotton pajamas. And he sees his youngest uncle, quite possibly his coolest uncle, quiet as kept. His uncle's downstairs with his friends. They're all wearing velour sweatsuits and complete with the gold chain dookie chains. You know what I'm talking about, the four finger rings and all that other stuff. Just the entire look. And they're blasting this new LL Cool J song. I mean, they're absolutely going crazy. And there I was in the basement, stairway basement, watching all this happen. And I didn't want to come all the way down because I just want to be a fly in the wall. But then my uncle, who could have been no more than 17 at the time, sees me and yells at me to come down the stairs. He's like, "Yo, nephew, stop being a sneaky little mouse. Come here." So I come all the way downstairs, and I couldn't have been more than 5 at the time. But I remember this moment, and I was just a little nervous. I was surrounded by all my uncle's friends, and they had just come from a party where they were all just hyped up from the evening festivities. So there I am in the middle of the basement, and he puts his arm around me and around my shoulder. And he's like, "Yo, man, little man, why you still up?" And I told him that him and his friends woke me up. And they all started laughing and, just, having fun at my expense. Then he asked, "Yo, nephew, you like that song?" I replied, "Yeah." I said, "Who was that?" He said, "Nephew, that's the best rapper alive, LL Cool J." And just then, one of his other friends just yelled out, "Yeah, and you lying. Rakim's the best." And my uncle shrugs him off and, says like, "Whatever, yeah, whatever. Hey, you want to hear that again?" I replied, "Yeah." Then he rewinds the cassette player and has me push play. And out comes this, calling all cars. And there I was in the basement, bobbing my head with my hands in tow, his friends surrounding me, hyping me up. And I know, like, that's the moment that I fell in love with hip hop. Occasionally, I like to replay that moment in my head from time to time, and I wonder if it hadn't been for that moment, would I have ever been so seduced by this genre of music that has literally put a grip over my life? I mean, most likely, yeah. But it's those moments that make us. The moment also highlights how our perspectives can alter how we view who's the best rapper ever. Now, clearly at that time, my uncle believed that LL Cool J was that guy. And temperature check, he still does, by the way. And honestly, many would have LL Cool J as the preeminent GOAT. And you know what? They wouldn't be wrong. Because honestly, hip-hop is such a varied personal art form that it's hard to cast judgment on someone's top 5 dead or alive. I mean, just last week, Twitter went aflame when a person by the name of Tony the Dome stated emphatically, and I quote, "Andre 3000 cannot be the GOAT without carrying a full load of multiple solo albums. No, sir, I'm not buying it." Do people even understand how hard it is to write 12 to 14 songs with 2 to 3 verses over 7 to 10 solo albums? Nah, fam, I don't get it. And I love Andre 3 Stacks. Half of the greatest rap group to me. Yo, Buddy's mentions went dumb. And for good reason. For a lot of people, 3 Stacks operates in that rarefied air of untouchable status. To even suggest such a thing is like sacrilegious. He's like literally one of the sacred cows of hip hop, if you will. But what exactly defines a GOAT? Is there a criteria? Should we be basing it off of, I don't know, how many albums does one need? Or, how many classic albums, I guess, 5 mics? Remember we used to do 5 mics? Are sales important? Is mass appeal important? Papoose, a New York-based artist, said that although he loves him, Hov is not even in his top 5. Which goes to show you that hip-hop's appeal and experience is not so easily transferable from one person to another. Just recently, GQ had Future on the cover stating emphatically, without any irony, that he's the best rapper alive. And before you cast it off as just some white publication commenting on black business, The article was written by Elliot Wilson, a known black hip-hop interviewer and journalist who cut his teeth on the source in XXL magazine. I mean, after all, LeBron James had the audacity to even put Future on the same level as Drake, Cole, and Kendrick, arguing he's on this generation's Mount Rushmore. And listen, the numbers make a compelling case. 8 solo albums, 19 solo mixtapes, 1 collaborative album, 4 mixtapes, and 2 EPs, and 1 soundtrack. And he's been streamed over 30 billion times. And doesn't even count the influence he's had on this generation of this thing of ours. Like many artists, especially out of ATL, have mimicked him. He's literally birthed more copycats in ATL than the rapper, any rapper I can think of, including 3 Stacks. I mean, you have people like Designer, Little Durk, Little Baby, Gunna, Young Thug, Little Uzi Vert. I mean, those just to name a few. And I'm here to tell you that I'm not telling you to become a congregant of the Church of Future. I'm simply stating that the GOAT argument is not as clear and cut as people make it seem. To say that this topic is subjective is an understatement. It's all laced in our internal bias, taste, interests, real lived experiences and influences. It's no different than when people would argue down if LeBron is greater than Jordan. The arguments get murkier and murkier over time, with Jordan advocates pointing towards rings and LeBron advocates talking about longevity and sustained excellence. It gets even cloudier when the conversation goes towards off-the-court examples. But hip-hop is an art, a black art. And to deny it as any other than that says more about you than this beautiful art form of ours. How can you tell someone that John Basquiat is greater than Jacob Lawrence? Or the photographer James Van Der Zee shows a better depiction of black life than Gordon Parks? You can't. Because certain art resonates with certain people. We all have an opinion, and nobody's greater than the other. So whether you're a kid who sneaked down his grandmother's basement trying to emulate his cool younger uncle, or a person who grew up in the South having an eclectic, eccentric wordsmith speak to your heart and soul, all these experiences matter. And none of them are bad. Welcome to Uncultured Bias podcast. My name is Camara Williams. I'm your host. On our show, we take the culture as a matter of perspective and opinion. After all, culture is just another way to say discovered. We are uncultured, we are biased, and we are black. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are a returning listener, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Yo, we'd ask everybody, whether they're returning or they're the first time, please share it with your friends. Sharing is caring, so share it on social media, text message, email, whatever you do, just share it. We don't even care if you even like the person. Just share it anyway. If you're listening on Apple, please continue to rate the podcast, leave a 5-star rating, or also leave a comment. That's how Apple grades their algorithms. So please continue to do that. We are going to give a shout out to our sponsors this week at Coleman Law. So you can reach them at www.coleman.law. It's 850-597-2990. That's 850-597-2990. They can help you with any tax-related and business-related question. If you're in the market for real estate, contact Keystone Global Real Estate at 407-680-8510. And of course, you're in the market for a wills, trust, estate planning, all that stuff. Contact Smith & Williams at 888-SWTG-LAW or 321-872-7573. And of course, 888-798-4529 and C. Williams at swtglaw.com. All right, brilliant. Let's get right into the show. So, Rob.
What up? What up, Cam?
What up, bro? Thank you for joining me, man.
Great intro. So
did I paint the picture for you?
Appreciate that. Everybody has their story of when they fell in love with hip hop.
Yeah.
So as you were telling that great story of you and your uncles, I have to tell my story now.
Please do.
Yes. Yeah. So, born in Newport News, Virginia.
Okay.
My parents, Southern Baptists. So my early years, my adolescent years were raised in the church.
Yeah.
So it was church every Sunday, Bible study every Wednesday, and somehow they snuck in an extra day or two somewhere in there as well.
they made it into a 9-day week. You don't know how they did it.
Basically.
Right.
Basically. So it was literally all gospel and R&B from 1983 till 1992.
Oh,
that's it.
That's okay. Yeah.
For the first 9 years, it was all gospel in R&B, and not even the good R&B. This was Well, I mean, it was good, but it was old school R&B at that time.
Yeah, define like good R&B, bad R&B.
When I say good, it wasn't what my peers were listening to. So it wasn't Jodeci. It wasn't Teddy Riley. It wasn't, all of that.
Was it Teddy P? Was it Teddy Pendergrass?
No, it was. Now that's what it was. So It was Teddy Pendergrass. It was Luther Vandross. It wasn't that much Teddy P, actually. I don't think my parents wanted me to listen to Teddy P.
Yeah, okay.
They let Luther slide. They let Big Luther slide.
They let Big Luther slide. Big Luther.
They let Big Luther slide.
Yeah.
So fast forward now, 1993, fifth grade, we moved to Maryland, PG County, Maryland.
Okay.
And they blessed me they finally at this point said, you can have your own radio in your room.
Okay.
Like, sweet.
Right.
Yes. All right, here we go. I get to hear what all my friends are talking about.
Yeah.
And so, I vaguely, like very specifically remember listening to my radio in my room, and I hear this doo-doo, and then these drums come in, and then I hear a hip hop hooray. Oh, hey. I was like, what is that? What is this coming out of these speakers?
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
And so Naughty by Nature, Hip Hop Hooray was my introduction and when I fell in love with hip hop.
Okay.
And needless to say, my first hip hop tape was 1993.
1993. I was about to say.
Yep.
I remember that.
That is when, at the age of 10 years old in fifth grade, that is when I fell in love with hip hop.
I remember 1993. Yeah.
Yep.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Let's call it. I don't know. It's weird because like I sometimes think about like those moments and like how they still stick to your bones.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, man, like that's really like, and I'm sure I still would have fell in love with hip hop, but it's like, it's amazing how like, I don't know, like for mine, like it was crisp. Like I can remember it, that moment, that feeling of hearing LL Cool J's Bad. And I'm like, what is that? Like, what the hell is that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just I know some people might think like that song sounds old, but it's like when that song still, when I hear it, it still hits me like, oh man, this is the song right here.
It's on my workout playlist still.
Oh, it's still on your
got it on my workout playlist.
It still goes hard, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That song still goes hard. And it's the same way, like, like Hip Hop Hooray, like it's just, there's certain indelible moments in your life when like a song would just be, it's like a soundtrack. Like I think it'll be like a soundtrack to your life. And I really do, feel like, hip hop for me has been one of my greatest love affair. Shout out to my wife, but I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. Like I was born into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was born into it, and it's like I thought I would get rid of it, but I can't. It's just what it is. It's what it is. I just love this thing so much.
I would say, I think because of my parents, so R&B was my first love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But hip hop was one hell of a mistress.
Yeah.
Hip hop took control of my soul, and it was, for me, everything. Like R&B touches your emotions and hits you in a certain way, where hip hop, it just hit me in aspects and it dove deep into like, bringing out that inner beast in me and bringing out that inner man inside of me that just R&B just couldn't. And because of that, just hip hop just really took me to another level. And I will say, because of my love for R&B as well, and then other genres ensued after that, I think it made me more of a well-rounded ear when it comes to music. And I think we'll go into that deeper later on in this pod, but I think it's very important to diversify your sounds and what you listen to, because it helps make you become a more eclectic and more well-rounded listener when it comes to the music that you consume.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's interesting. I was as you were talking, I was thinking about where does my love of R&B come from? And it's from my mother. Mm-hmm. My mother loves because my father still is to this day loves West Indian Jamaican music. You know, Caribbean music, and so does my mother. But my mother really I remember listening to on the record player Jody Watley. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Whitney Houston. And just different records, man. You know what I mean? We talked about shit like Jeffrey Arthur. She had all the records. Big Luther. I remember listening to him and it was Saturday morning. We would listen to these songs while we're cleaning the house or the apartment at the time, right? And and so I think those things again really influenced my life, my love for music. As you said, a well-rounded viewpoint of music because. On the one end, I'm listening to hip hop on my cassette player, right? And on the other end, I have my mother playing these records, and from the 80s and even from the 70s, you know. And I'm learning and I'm listening to these things, and it's just really it fused into how I see the world and how I view music, and it's such a beautiful thing to where I try to recapture that with my kids. I'm trying to recapture moments to where they can remember and they can have these moments 20, 30 years from now about, I remember this record, because my dad used to play it in the car or he plays it in the house, and so I'm trying to recreate those same moments with my children because I know how much they've affected me and how I see the world,
Definitely.
So listen, let's get right into it, bro. I know we've kind of we've kind of eased into it, but what do you think about that statement that Andre 3000, let's just get asked I have an opinion on it, but I want to hear your opinion.
Yep. But I'll let the people know. Andre 3000, he's top tier to me. Mm-hmm. So he's always been in my top 5.
Dead or alive. Top 5, dead or alive.
Dead or alive. Dead or alive. He's always been in my top 5. Outkast is hands down my favorite group of all time. Out of artists in my lifetime, between Jay-Z and Andre 3000, I've studied their lyrics the most.
Yeah.
In my lifetime. So that just kind of gives you a sense of where I'm at with Andre 3K. And I saw that tweet and I saw the back and forth, which was very interesting to me. And it made me think, why have I never put Andre at number 1 though? Mm-hmm. He's always been top 5, maybe at some point even top 3 in my mind. I think back to that run in the early 2000s when Outkast they just finished Speaker Box and Love Below, and Andre went on that run of features where he just killed every verse that he jumped on. Mm-hmm. He may have been top 3 in my head at that time, but I never. And Jay-Z is number 1 on my list. He never overtook Jay-Z as GOAT status, and that tweet made me think: is that why? Why is because
he's never put out a solo project.
He never put out a solo project. The closest we got to it was the Love Below.
Love Below, yeah. Which really wasn't even a hip hop album.
There it is.
Quiet as kept.
There it is.
Quiet as kept.
It really was more in the R&B lane.
It was. Because Speaker Box was the hip hop album.
Can we say, it is Andre 3K the reason we have Drake?
Oh, absolutely.
Did he inspire Drake?
Absolutely.
Love Below is the father of Certified Lover Boy.
It's a phenomenal album.
Definitely.
Phenomenal.
Definitely. One of my all-time favorite. I can recite that album front to back. One of my all-time favorite albums.
And it's actually
pure hip-hop
And
album.
It's actually my favorite part of Speaker Box. I love the entire project. But
for sure.
I love Below more than I loved when it first came out. Before the hype of like, Hey Ya and all that other stuff. I was like, oh, this is my favorite part of this. I love the Love Below. And
I think most people will agree with that if you were to break it up, I listen to Love Below 2/3 of the time compared to about 1/3 of the time for Speaker Box, and which is still very no shots at
no shade at Speaker Box,
very strong side.
It was just
Speaker Box.
It's just Love Below, and I think also too I was on my John Coltrane kick. I don't know if you heard my podcast last week, and so the Love Supreme, and I was thinking to myself I wonder if this is a kind of tie into the Love Supreme with the Love Below, and I was I was really trying to figure that out a little bit because he's just Andre's always on some other shit, and so I love the Love Below, but I can't put him up there. I couldn't. And I will say this: there's no wrong argument with the GOAT. I know a lot of people say, well, because he's had so many different guest verses, and his rhymes have been, to your point, dissected, parsed through, and nobody's ever going to deny that he can. Any track he gets onto, he bodies it. Right? He bodies the track.
Stands out.
He stands out.
He's the premier verse.
Right. You know what I mean? Every track, literally, I can't even think of one track where Andre's I don't know why you did that. I don't know why Andre's, that was kind of, and to that point, I've actually walked away from some Jay-Z features Jay-Z, you didn't really do that.
Definitely.
I've walked away from I feel like you just didn't try hard enough.
I get the argument that people will have where it's quantity over quality.
Yeah.
So and I think somebody said this in the comments, they give more stock into 3K's quality and choice than the quantity of a Jay-Z and so forth. So from that aspect, I get it. Because if you were to just put the quality in the selection of verses that he gets on and the songs he gets on, it to the point where now, if Andre 3K gets on a song, he's already given it his stamp of approval.
It's already a phenomenal song.
It's
funny because Drake did the slick thing of dropping that, thing where, the missing song from the original Donda. And it was kind of that wasn't the flex you thought it was. That actually made
it. Wasn't.
That was actually I'm mad at Kanye because Kanye didn't put that on the damn album.
Out of all the songs you put on the album, that's the one you leave off?
That's the one you leave off?
That's the one you leave off.
I'm really? Okay. That was the strongest song on the entire album.
Damn, that shit go hard. Hey, Miss Donda.
Yeah. That was the strongest song. That was probably one of the strongest songs Kanye's had in the last 3 years.
Definitely.
And that was a song I didn't understand it. But I mean, literally every song. I was thinking about it because in preparation for this podcast, I was thinking just in the last 4 years, some of the standout Andre 2000. And one of the things that there's one where he does with Rick Ross where 16 is not enough.
Yep.
I was like, oh my God, that is such a great song. That's such a great. It's a funny thing about Rick Ross. I'm gonna get to Rick Ross in a moment.
Well, real quick. To your point, I love that you highlighted that Rick Ross verse, that verse on that 16 cut, because it's more of a traditional hip hop sound kind of verse. But then he'll flip it and he'll jump on the Walk It Out remix.
Right.
And he's out here, he's spitting and you're dancing to, and I specifically remember dancing in the club to Walk It Out. But at the same time,
that verse
you're reciting
the whole verse.
While you're dancing.
Yeah.
And he's spitting, and he has this ability to make you dance, but he's spitting knowledge at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. So the thing is, because I'm gonna get into why I don't believe, but I want to give Andre 3 Stacks his roses here. Part of what goes into the GOAT argument is versatility. And there's no, I don't know if there's an artist who's more versatile than Andre. Maybe Hove. And when I say versatility wise, this is why I can't put Eminem in that space, because although Eminem has sold more than anybody, right? Eminem's, sounds really, really surface level, but I've never seen anybody in the club to dance to Eminem songs. I've never seen a party go up on an Eminem song. I've never seen a party go up on an Eminem song.
Lose Yourself. That's the only one.
That's the only one.
Lose Yourself.
That's probably the only one, but it's like,
I can't think of another one.
I can't think of one that he's like, you play that song like, yo, spin that shit back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like, and
then even Lose Yourself is, let's just be honest, there's a certain type of club.
There's a certain type of club, because
you're not hearing Lose Yourself in the trap.
You're not hearing Lose Yourself at seersuckers and sundresses. Like, right. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the vibe you're going in, right? You know what I mean? So like, that's my thing about Eminem, you know, and why it's hard for me to put him in that space, because, you know, you have versatility, the ability to rock a crowd, make you think, you know what I mean? Fast, slow, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what I'm going to get from you. It's like when they are grading a baseball player, do they have a 5-tool player? Like, you know what I mean? Are they fast? Can they pitch? You know, can they hit? Are they, you know what I mean? Fielding, you know, vision. Like, this 5-tool player in the baseball. Are you a 5-tool artist? And Andre is I'm going to put this out there. He's a 5-tool artist, right? Undeniable. The problem I have, again, it goes into like, he never gave us a seminal hip hop solo album. He never gave us that. And here's my criticism, because he's admitted that I don't want to put one out there because I'm too scared of he's admitted that. Like, interesting. Yeah. And so like, because he's admitted that, it's like, man, like, I can't give that to you, because you've admitted the reason why you haven't given us what we've asked for, because you're afraid of the criticism that goes along with it. And maybe the pressure or whatnot. But it's like, that's part of it. That's part of it. The same way that people criticize, and it's a legit argument, the same way people criticize LeBron, like, why'd you leave to Miami the first time? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I don't agree that he shouldn't have left to Miami, but these are legit criticisms, and you can't walk away from those criticisms. And that's all I'm saying about Andre. Like, I'm not. If someone told me, like, you told, oh, he's a GOAT, I wouldn't sit there and like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I would never, because that's your personal. But I'm personally, that's where I leave it at. Like, I don't know if I can hold on to that, and to that point where, you know, because people talk about lyricism and MC and all that other stuff. My pushback is that there are a lot of great MCs in hip hop, a lot of MCs, a lot of lyrical people, especially in groups. And so we can't just give that to, just because he's a top tier MC. Like, that can't be the criteria. You know what I mean? That can't be the criteria, because, I mean, I know this sounds sacrilegious, but like, shit, like GZA, not RZA, GZA is probably the top tier MC in Wu-Tang. And they will tell you that. Like, you know, Ray and Ghost, and you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, the person that really did and put miles around us was GZA. But GZA never got any.
But who's the number one? Who gets the most shine?
Meth.
You know what I
mean? Meth gets the most shine. Personally,
Meth has the look. Meth has the cadence.
I never liked Tikal. I'm gonna put that out there. I was not a fan. And that was a mid album.
I mean, honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I could probably count on two hands like the number of times I fully listened to a Method Man album.
It was Meth album. Tikal wasn't. If you go back and listen, I remember listening to it at the time. It wasn't that great. If you go back and listen to it now, you'd be like, "This is a terrible album."
It's not that great.
It's not a great album.
he checks every other box.
Charisma, look,
style, style, like, and it's the thing. It's not just the words that you're saying. And yeah, there's thousands of great rappers,
right?
But the presentation, how do you present it? Mm-hmm. How do you give it to the people? Like, what, call it what you want, but he played to the female audience.
He did. I mean, you're all I need. You're all I need is still an incredible record.
Classic.
Still an incredible record.
I can recite that, his verses in that classic record.
My wife and I recited that on one of our anniversaries like 6 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not going to hold that against him. He knew his lane. He knew his strengths, and he played to it. Mm-hmm. But you're right. Lyrically, GZA was the best lyricist
out of all of them,
out of all of Wu-Tang.
And then
they won't deny that.
And then secondary under that to me, Ghostface to me. See, Ghostface to me was my favorite Wu member.
Ghostface has some of the best solo albums in Wu-Tang. Supreme Clientele,
Iron Man.
Those are classic albums. Yeah.
And it's funny because he was on Drink Champs and he talked about Iron Man not even being his favorite. I'm like, I don't know. He said he didn't like Iron Man, but that to me, he said Iron Man could have been better because he was in a good headspace because a lot was going on in his life at the time. But Iron Man and Supreme Clientele are the fact he did it on 2 albums. Like, I love Raekwon, but he got that purple tape shit off one time. You know what I mean? Like, it still was a great album. Still great listen. I mean, Incarcerated Scarfaces, you know what I mean? Like, come on now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Very strong.
Listen, like, that's still, like, the album is still an incredible album. But, like, for me, it was Ghost who's actually the preeminent member in Wu-Tang.
Definitely. Definitely. Let's tie it back to Andre 3K because...
Yeah. I'm sorry, we went off on a little woo.
Yeah, we did. Wu-Tang forever. It's all good.
Yeah, Wu-Tang love the children.
It really, what you said earlier about Andre admitting about there's a hesitation there about doing a solo album. How much of that do you think it is because of the Outkast brand? And to me, with him and Big Boy, the reason they're my favorite group of all time, no one offsets each other better than Andre 3000 and Big Boy. Mm-hmm. They were like Kobe and Shaq to me.
Right.
Where they played off of each other so well. And that's what made them so appealing, because now you're gathering not just the kind of the trap audience, but now you're gathering the backpackers, the original, the hip hop heads as well on Andre's side. So, and you bridge that together with some great Southern beats. And that's what just made, to me, such a great group. And I wonder if Andre, doesn't want to tarnish that legacy. And so he can keep doing these features and everything, but to put out another album kind of tarnishes not just his legacy, but maybe the Outkast legacy as well. What's your thoughts on that?
I can see that. They became such, like, that album. Okay, let's walk back. Number one. Yep. Speaker Box Love Below is not even my favorite Outkast album. It's
not at all.
It's Aquemini.
Aquemini
is the preeminent album for me for Outkast. Yep. Now it's weird because I do love like, actually I love all the Outkast albums. But definitely. I think it was
AT
Aliens is okay. I'm sorry. Go. Your point.
Go ahead.
No, because I loved when AT Aliens came out. Like, you know what I'm saying? With like me and you, I was like, okay, these guys are. I already loved the Southern Playlist. I love that. But when AT Aliens, it was like they changed up their flow, their style, their entire arcade. It was like so good. It was so different.
They evolved on that album.
That second album, it just shows. And you know how I'm all about growth. I love when an artist shows growth and change, right? And so like AT Aliens was like, okay, like I'm paying attention. I'm really paying attention. I already liked them, but I'm paying attention. And then when Equimini came out, and then remember when they gave them 5 mics, it caused all this controversy because a lot of people were like, who is this group out of the getting 5 mics? Because remember that was a New York thing. Like you got to get 5 mics, and that was hard to get 5 mics. Like I don't
because that's when they went to the Source Awards, and they had to let people know where the South was in the Source Awards, right?
Right, because like they didn't the magazine didn't give out 5 mics, you know,
right?
And so like I know it got a lot of hate. They're like when they got 5 mics, and then when people heard, they're like, oh shit, yeah, this is a 5 mic. Equimini, yeah. I play Equimini more than I play Speakerbox Love Below.
Oh, for sure.
And
for sure.
And in fact, I was to the point where I remember I still was on a Tribe Called Quest at that time. Yeah. Like I still like they were the best duo group, you know? And then when Equimini came out, I was like, you know,
these dudes in the South,
yeah,
and that's you know, in this coming from 2 guys that weren't even in the South at that time.
Mm-hmm. So,
because you were in Cali by that time, or New York.
I was in Cali.
You were in Cali.
Yeah.
I'm still in Maryland,
mm-hmm.
But something about that sound just caught my ear and was like, oh, I've never heard anything like this before. And they're spitting lyrics on top of it too.
Where does it rank? Because you have AT Aliens, Southern Playlistic, you have Equimini.
Yep.
No, you have Southern Playlistic, you have AT Aliens, and you have Equimini.
And then you have
Speakerbox.
No.
You have
Stankonia.
Yeah. Where do you rank Stankonia? Because people don't talk about that. Oh, and we're bringing in my boy Ken. He wants to become in this discussion. So
word.
Yeah,
word.
but what do you rank? What do you rank Stankonia in all the albums? What's up, Ken? Can you hear us?
I put Stankonia 4. It's kind of low for me.
Stankonia's
amongst their albums.
Stankonia's number 4.
Yeah, it's probably 4. I'll put that. Damn. You know what? I can't even put it. I don't know if I can put it against Southern Playalistic either. Get Up, Get Out, Crumbling Herb, Hootie Hoo. No, okay.
That's
damn,
tough.
But
that's tough.
Now I'm picking children.
Yeah.
Because they tried a lot of random stuff. Because they had it was heavy interludes and stuff, which they've always done. But Stankonia, they really delve real deep into it.
Yeah.
Now, yes, you had the commercial success of So Fresh, So Clean and Miss Jackson.
Yeah.
And then you had B.O.B. But the B-sides, I feel like the B-sides were better on a couple of other albums.
Yeah. I like Snapping and Trapping. Snapping and Trapping is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
I love Snapping and Trapping.
Either way, I'll say it like this. It's hard to say exactly where I will rank it, but I know for sure AT Aliens is number 1 for me.
For real?
I'm sorry. I said that wrong. I'm sorry. Equimini.
Okay.
Equimini is number 1. AT Aliens is number 2.
I would say Equimini. I would say Stankonia. Then I would say Speakerbox Love Below, and then I would say AT Aliens. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ken, you with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yep.
Okay, I was just listening to this nonsense, but I was just
What?
Number 1, I'm not ranking any of the Outkast albums because they're all amazing.
They're all amazing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man.
Stop
we
that.
know that, but no, stop it, Ken. Don't start that. Don't start that.
My bad.
Give me a ranking.
Okay, Jesus. If I have to do it, Aquemini is number one.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Undoubtedly, I think everybody believes that Aquemini is number one.
Okay.
Agreed.
After that, it is Stankonia. And then
I think he's going on my list. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but my number 3 would be Southern Playalistic Cadillac.
Okay.
Because when I first heard that in 92?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yep.
92. I was a friend of mine who was a lot older than me. You know, he was from Atlanta and he was like, yo, I want you to listen to this. Like, again, 92, we had cassettes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we put it in, and I've never been in 92. I was I don't know, 11.
Mm-hmm.
And the intro with the flight, the pilot talking about, welcome to Georgia.
Yeah.
And then that first like when that beat dropped,
yeah,
I was sold from right there. I was sold.
Oh, so Ken, let me ask you, because Rob got that. In my intro, I talked about when I fell in love with hip hop, and I talked about going down and listening to my uncles, and going down the basement and then hearing LL Cool J for the first time, and I'm Bad, and that was the moment that stuck with me. Rob talked about when he put on the turn on the radio and he heard Hip Hop Parade in 1992. What was the moment for you when you were like, yo, I fell in love with hip hop?
I want to say, yeah, because, you're young, between the age of whatever, between, 0 and 10, you're listening to what people are around you are listening to.
Yeah.
Right. Again, I have parents who are from the islands, from Haiti, and rap music really wasn't what it was. You know what I'm saying? It was just, so it wasn't like that was something I was getting,
right,
in the house. So I would, you hear it on the radio, and then you listen to your kids or what's popular or whatever. But again, I was, his name was Sorrell, my friend then. I mean, he was like 16.
Yeah.
Because we just happened to live, I was living in an apartment. When you live in an apartment with kids, everybody's friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was just like, yo, I got this tape, because he came back from Atlanta.
Yeah.
He came back from Atlanta with this tape. And it was then, because after that, I mean, Doggy Style came out?
Yeah, 93. Yeah.
93, Doggy Style came out. Even though I loved like the Chronic, it wasn't what I was young. It wasn't like that's what I was looking for.
Right.
But when I heard that Outkast tape,
yeah,
that was it for me.
Yeah.
True.
And that's why, to me, and again, your favorite music is whatever is captured
at that about.
Age of 11 to 14.
Yeah. We talked about that. Yeah.
Okay. And fortunately for us, we were born in, we had music in the 90s. So it was all great between 90 and 99, which was impressionable to all of us.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I'm listening to the pilot, hey, welcome to Atlanta, blah, 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 blah. And then that first beat drop, and I was just like, this is it.
So, okay. Let me ask you, because Rob and we've discussed ad nauseum about why I love Outkast. I love Outkast. I love Andre 3 Stacks, but why I couldn't put him on as a GOAT. And I know you hate this, because we've talked about this, Ken. I know you hate this argument, but just indulge me just for a moment.
Okay.
Why would you consider him the GOAT?
Because everything he spits is fire.
We understand that. That's not the.
You get that.
That's it.
Okay. So I'm gonna challenge you then. I'm gonna challenge you on something, right?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna give out an artist that, everything he spits on a guest verse, he delivers.
Mm-hmm.
Ross.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, I know.
Why?
But on a guest verse, it's fire.
His
right?
guest verses are fire.
Okay. But they're kind of still the same.
Very true. They are very true. But you just said the criteria was because every guest verse he spits on is fire. That's what you said.
Listen, that's not what I said. I said every verse Andre 3 Stacks put out is every verse is fire.
Have you heard a bad verse from? And Ross has more verses than Andre, so it's actually not fair because Andre he's allowed himself not to be judged in the same sphere as other people because he puts out stuff very sparingly. Where Ross, he's a whore with his. Anybody jumps on anybody's record, you know.
And I get it, and again, and this is why in my opinion, this whole GOAT talk is frustrating.
You know who I think is I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
Because the criteria is whatever you want it to be.
I agree.
There it is. There it is. And that's it right there.
Yeah.
It's based on what your personal criteria is. It's so subjective. Someone's criteria can be, I'm only picking the person that makes me move in the club. Someone's criteria can be, I'm only picking the person that makes me think lyrically.
Right.
I'm only picking the person that's this, that's that. And everybody is, and that's why I like the art analogy in the beginning of the pod, Cam, where it's so subjective.
Yeah.
And it's in the eye of the beholder.
Right. Now,
what you hear and what you see, and then you can have individuals that are going based on the numbers that the artist is producing. Yeah. So now that crowd is going, but they sold X many records. Right. So how is A better than B when A sold more records? Right. And I think that takes us to the Future argument.
No. Before we get there, before we get to Future, I want to say something controversial here.
Okay.
Why is Scarface not considered? Because everybody we forgot a big person, Lil Wayne, and I have an opinion about Lil Wayne.
Me too. I could speak. Oh, we could talk on that too.
Yeah, but why is Scarface not considered the king of the South more than Lil Wayne? Because he's or even more than Andre. Because Scarface bars, has given you club joints. Scarface has given you parties. Scarface has given you stuff to think about. His versatility, and he hasn't jumped on a lot of tracks. So he's very. So I mean, why not?
So here's my thoughts on Scarface. I've always thought of Scarface as the godfather of Southern hip hop. One of the godfathers. Scarface is a casualty of being a great artist before his region was great.
I love Scarface.
So before the South was really popping. So it's kind of like the argument, Outkast, Scarface walked so Outkast could run. Scarface walked so No Limit could run. Master P and No Limit could run. He had to play his role in the history of hip hop, but without him playing that role, we don't get the artists that we discussed later on in the 90s and early 2000s. Get what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying. What are your thoughts, Ken?
I have several thoughts about the Lil Wayne thing real quick.
We'll get to Lil Wayne. I want to hear about Scarface.
But they go at the same time. It's because as great as Scarface is, right? Scarface is kind of stuck at a certain time period.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
But he's still incredible. The stuff you listen to it now, it still sounds incredible, right?
But again, the time period he's talking, we relate to that.
Right.
Me, you, Rock, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, we relate to that. Okay. Scarface, the reason, not because anything, not lyrics, not music or anything, is that his timing is what has caused people to kind of forget about, and I say people, but mainstream people to forget about Scarface in the sense of he's great. Okay, it's timing, and then that's why I want to say with the Lil Wayne thing is because Lil Wayne timing is always on point. His timing is always on point.
Okay.
We forget that Lil Wayne was rapping since 97.
Yeah.
Maybe 6.
Yeah. So here's
a key real quick, Cam. Because Ken just made me think about this with his point. Regional crossover is huge. To me, I put Scarface kind of in the same box as E40.
Okay.
It's the regional crossover. Within the South, they will argue you down that Scarface should be on the Mount Rushmore of hip hop. In the West, they will argue you down that E40 should be on the Mount Rushmore of hip hop.
Right.
But you won't necessarily get somebody from the East argue down for Scarface. You won't necessarily get somebody from the Midwest argue down for E40. There are certain guys and ladies that in this hip hop world where their greatness is kind of region based as well. And it's those that break out of that region base that become the quote unquote GOATs.
Right.
Across the time. And that's where I think like Lil Wayne, by Ken mentioning Lil Wayne, he's someone that it doesn't matter what region you're in. It doesn't matter what country you're in. You hear hip hop, you know Lil Wayne. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so here's my thing with Lil Wayne. Again, here's
my fault, y'all.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Here's my thing with Lil Wayne, man. I love Lil Wayne. My problem with Lil Wayne is that when you listen to old Lil Wayne, it don't hit the same. His songs, like, they don't have the same. It's like weird. Like when I listen to older Lil Wayne, it doesn't really.
Now, when you say older Lil Wayne, are you talking about like Hot Boys Lil Wayne, or are you talking about like mixtape Wheezy?
It's weird. Mixtape Wheezy sounds better than album Wheezy.
You know,
he does. Like the Carter 3 is not a great listen anymore.
What?
Yeah, it's not a great listen to me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
He lost me, Ken.
I don't care. I'm saying it's controversial. I don't listen to the Carter 3 like that.
Whoa.
I listened to it. I listened to it a few months ago, and I was like, it's not doing it what I thought it was going to do.
Nah, that's all right. Classic.
I'm gonna let you. That's your opinion.
That's my opinion.
Respect.
Okay.
That's my opinion. I didn't say it was popular. I said it's an unpopular opinion. The Carter 3 doesn't like listen. It doesn't go that well for me. I can even say the same way for Illmatic. There's only a few songs I like on Illmatic. Like I love It Ain't Hard to Tell, but like you listen to some songs of Illmatic, I'm like it's a slow listen. You know, I can't listen to the entirety of Illmatic. Sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest.
Hey, I understand. We all got our, cross to bear. You chose to, say the Carter 3 is not a good listen.
No, I said now. I said then it was great. When I re-listen to it now, it's not a great listen for me.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I didn't say then it was great to listen. When I listen to it now, I'm like, this is kind of boring. I don't really want to listen to this.
So Cam, in your top 5, you weigh how much weight do you put on longevity? Well, what's the term that I'm looking for? Where
timelessness. Timelessness.
So it seems like you put a heavy weight on timelessness.
I want to
in your top 5.
Yeah, the songs I need to hear records. Like if I hear a Tribe Called Quest song, it needs to sound great to me. Like I just can't just like, oh, it was great back in '94. Like no, well let me listen to it now. Like you know what I mean? Like how does it sound great? Oh, it sounds great now. Okay, y'all still deserve to be up there. You know what I mean? Like I have to. I'm just being honest. Okay, that's the thing I put on it. Song
the Carter 3 is hard, bro.
At the time, listen. At the time,
can't.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the track listing right now, and bro, you wildin'.
It's okay.
You wildin', bro.
It's okay.
You is wildin', bro.
It's okay. It's okay.
Like, you are really tripping right now.
Okay. Yeah, Lollipop still goes for you?
Yes.
Lollipop still goes for you?
A Millie.
It ain't terrible.
And Millie, the best part about a Millie is the friggin'. Okay, let me stop.
A Millie is a timeless track. Don't even front. A Millie is a timeless track. Mrs. Officer still gets played in the clubs. Let the Beat Build is low key a really strong.
Let the Beat Build is probably still. Let the Beat Build is still the best one on that damn album.
Shoot Me Down is a good B-side. Oh,
let the beat build is the best part. A Millie still kind of like it sounds dated to me. I'm sorry. A Millie sounds dated to me. Lollipop sounded dated to me. You know, You Ain't Got Nothing sounded dated to me. Like it's. I'm sorry.
Me? Oh, okay. All right. Hold on.
Okay. All right. Let him believe what.
That's how I feel. Opinion. That's my opinion.
That's how he feels.
It's how I feel. It sounded dated to me. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I didn't say I was
continue.
right.
Let's continue.
But I say it all that to say it's all subjective, and I'm allowed to be wrong in my own. I'm allowed for y'all to think I'm wrong.
Hey, Rob.
Yes.
On a side note, I'm gonna pretend Camara's not on this phone call right now.
Okay.
He just said Carter 3 is not good? Oh, it's just
that's what he said.
That's what he said?
That's what he said. And he's sticking to it too.
I'll flip this entire podcast off. I don't give a shit. Won't be no damn podcast.
Okay, we need to change the subject before we start fighting on this Zoom call.
You know what? I probably have lost podcast listeners at this point.
Part 4 might be a better listen production wise because the beats were better.
Okay. Okay.
And so I go back and forth between a Carter 3 and a Carter 4. But his thing with the difference with each of the Carters are different though. Mm-hmm. And that's what I say. Okay, I respect him for that. Like each one was different, but I can see where you can say Lollipop. No, I can't. No, I was trying.
It's fine, bro. I'm not here for you to get on my side. I'm here to make a point. That's my point is that it's all subjective.
Yeah, no, and this is why I don't like having those arguments. Okay. You know, and this is why when somebody puts a tweet or whatever,
but I want to make sure I'm clear. At the time, the Carter 3 was the album.
Was it? Yeah, and we have to understand that came out.
2008.
2008. So yeah, Jesus, that's forever ago.
That's when, you know what I'm saying? That's when we still believed in Yes We Can. So yeah.
So I can understand. The if you go back into it, listen to it now, you'd be like, wow, okay, maybe I don't want to listen to this. So I can see that.
That's all I'm saying. I just didn't want to listen to a lot of those tracks. I'm like, I don't want to hear this. This is boring to me. Like, let the beat build is still, you know.
But again, this is when I say Andre 3000. I don't ever want to be like, I don't want to listen to any of those lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I say I don't want to listen to any. I've never said I don't want to hear anything from 3000 ever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's been times when Lil Wayne has done some things that be like, all right, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or anybody, I'd be like, okay, maybe you needed to check. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But there's never been a song. When I hear, damn, 3000 is going to be on something, I'm looking for that something.
Dope.
I'm looking for.
Let me ask you. When people say, hold on. Okay, let me ask you. When people were saying that Lil Wayne can go against Jay in a verses, where were you on that side of it? Ken?
He can go on them because if we're picking 20 songs.
Yeah,
he can find 20.
If we're doing
finding 20 out of 2,000, like
come
shit.
on, man. Yeah, I mean, like Wayne has fire shit.
Yeah,
we haven't even talked about the mixtapes.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. The mixtapes,
the no ceilings, the no
ceilings,
dedication.
I'm not human.
Yeah,
the dedication stuff.
Yeah,
you know.
Right.
So he has like a library of stuff where, yeah, this song is better than that song.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everything was just hit on that song. So that song is better. You know? So to me, the Versus thing lost what it was really about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Towards what? You know, to me, after that, well, first it was the Beanie Man Bounty Killer one, and then they upped their game up with like the Isley Brothers and Earth, Wind and Fire, because that was like music.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like those guys made those tracks. They produced them. They did all that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, everything else was just like, okay, I got these songs. This is your songs.
I like the Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight one.
But again, that was musical.
Yeah.
They wrote that. You know what I'm saying? And they got 50, 60 years in the game.
Right.
You know, like, okay, here's an example. Was it Ashanti and was it Ashanti doing with somebody?
Keisha Cole. Did she go against Keisha Cole?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Okay. Moving on. All right. Rob, what were you gonna say? Do you remember what were you gonna?
So, to Ken's point about Andre 3K and Lil Wayne, I'm not gonna punish Lil Wayne for the approach he took to his career. I feel like you're punishing him a little because, yes, where Andre was very strategic
and timeless
and very intentional about what he released, Lil Wayne took the approach where, you know what?
I'm flood these streets.
I'm just I'm on a streak to the point where he got bored. And that's when he released the rock album, that Rebirth rock album, and he put out some other stuff where you could tell he's just putting out music just to put out music. He knows it's not his best stuff too.
Right.
He knows this.
Right.
But he just loves music. So in my opinion, I'm not going to weigh that against Lil Wayne for not taking the same approach that Andre did. Now, with that being said, I love Andre and the fact that he took that approach and he's even in this conversation, because out of all the quote unquote goats that we're conversing about, he has the smallest catalog out of everybody.
Yeah. And I will say with Lil Wayne, I think he watered down himself too much, to the point where, you know, it took away from just his greatness, because he put out so much material. I think he made a quote recently. He said that it takes him months or weeks to write a rhyme because he said pretty much everything. And so like he's rhymed everything. So he said it's hard for him to come up with rhymes now because he's like over 3 decades of writing stuff. It's like it's hard for him now. Like, I've already said that, or I've already made that rhyme, or I did something similar than that like in 2009. You know what I mean? And so like I think that the quantity may have hurt Lil Wayne's and not hurt him because he's still considered on the Mount Rushmore.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's really where we're at with it.
And with that, what you're saying right there is, okay, the guy said, if you could hold 7 or 8 albums on your own, my theory, you know, because
yeah, I think we lost Rob. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I think we lost Ken.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Most artists have 5 albums at best.
Yeah.
And okay, they have 5 great albums.
Not even great.
Not even great. Not even great.
Okay, so they got 3 great albums.
If that. Lower.
Jesus Christ. Damn, he hit the Jay-Z line.
Most artists have two.
He hit the Jay-Z line. So then the other was Illmatic.
One was the other was Illmatic.
and that's what I'm saying. Like when you have like really like good rappers, right?
Yeah.
And they have 10 albums. Let's just say 10 albums, right?
Yeah.
You really, if you're a fan of them, you're really only checking out maybe 5 of them.
Yeah.
Really 3, like you said, maybe 3.
Yeah.
3.
It's usually the first one, right? The first one, maybe the second one, and probably their 4th or 5th one.
And then it's a smattering of other albums. Like, I love this track on this album. I like that track on that album. This is like, you know what I mean? I start pulling things from the albums I like. You know?
Then we start creating playlists.
Playlists from that artist.
Yeah.
Right? So, for example, Kendrick is about to give us an album soon, right?
We'll get to Kendrick. We'll get to Kendrick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So let me
take it there.
I think we've. But before we get to, because I want to talk about Future.
Okay.
All right.
God, do we really have to?
Yes, because I want to mention something.
Ken.
Yes, because I want to. Before we talk about Future, I'm gonna play a clip. Okay. And there's a reason why I'm playing this clip. So bear with me.
Yo, that president shit is crazy, big. He listened to it. Your man's nice. And we got to that. But we didn't get to he's the illest, right? Now, you're riding around with the dude that you feel is one of the best you'll ever hear, telling him
about another one.
My dude is the illest, respectfully. But he's my guy. So what you believe is going to be what you believe. But now the whole Junior Mafia are like, we want to kill Clark.
And why? Because you're forcing.
No, because I'm trying to make them understand. Yeah, I know he's nice, but my man is. And they're all going, yo, what kind of disrespectful shit are you on? So cool. We're on our way back to New York, and Big has to go to the studio, and he says, yo, I'm going to go do a second verse on Who Shot You. When I come back, you're going to say I'm the best. Right?
Shit.
So he goes, for people who don't know, Who Shot You, that first verse was always there.
Yeah,
it was on a record with Keith Murray, and it was on Mary J. Blige's Interlude, but you didn't get to hear Big's verse. So that verse,
hey, you have the Keith Murray version? You have the Keith Murray version?
Kinda.
Can we have it? I just want it for my collection. I won't play it.
Wow, that's going to find that. But regardless, so we go back, like 2 days later, we're back, and we're at the airport, and we're about to leave, and he goes, yo, nah. We ain't getting on the plane. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, I gotta play this for you. They bring out the radio, and he plays Who Shot You? I'm like, I know that. He goes, no. You gonna say I'm the hardest rapper out. I said, no, you're definitely, the hardest rapper out. He's like, nah, but you're gonna say I'm iller than your man. And I was like, dog, I give you that you're like amazing to me.
But you could not concede that he was better than Jay.
But then he's like, listen to this, and he plays Who Shot You from beginning to end.
His friend versus his son. You got to see where it's at. Jay's his friend, Big's his son. See what I'm saying?
But I'm listening to it, and I'm just like, fuck, he really meant that shit, yo. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling him, I was like, yo, you know what? And that's when I figured out rapper MC. Like, remember how I tried to explain to you the difference between rapper and MC? That day is when I figured it out. I said, yo, for real, you said your rhymes better than anybody I've ever heard say their rhymes. And he was like, the fuck are you talking about? So I'm the best. I was like, no, you're the best rapper I've ever heard. And he was like, so what does that make your man? I said, my man's the best MC I've ever heard. He was like, what the fuck is the difference?
So you gotta...
No, but like Junior Mafia, we're all in an airport, and now shit is heated. These dudes are mad. They're like, what the fuck, man? Fuck this nigga, man. Leave this nigga home. Like, now I can't go on the road because they're like, fuck him. And I was like, no, you say your rhymes better than anyone I've ever heard. He says the best rhymes I've ever heard. And he was like, but am I the hardest? And I was like, absolutely.
You got it.
So then I walked away from it, and then I was like, okay, yeah, you can get on the plane now.
Yeah, all right. So y'all caught that, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And when you're done, I got something on top of that too.
No. But I wanted to play that to talk about rapper versus MC, because there's a difference. And I say all that to say, again, sacrilegious here. Cardi B is a good rapper. Really good rapper. In fact, I'll even say she's an excellent rapper. You know, and I'll say she's an excellent rapper because I cannot lie. The way she hits a bar is catchy.
Oh, she hits hard. Yeah.
She hits a bar exceptional. I don't say she's a great MC because everything's written for her, but the way she hits a bar, you can't take that away. So when I saw the headline, Best Rapper Alive, I was like, I shrugged. I don't agree, but I was like, okay, if that's what they want to get, Best Rapper, whatever, you know. And you know what? And to take that along, we talked about the stats of like, you know, what Future and you know 30 billion streamed songs and you know his influence over Atlanta. He's like the king of Atlanta. He's influenced more people than Andre 3000 as far as rappers concerned. You know,
I mean, he created a whole new genre of rap.
He created an entire genre of rap. So like, and he's done it for over a decade. And so like, I understood what that was about. You know, and I think sometimes we get caught up in like, oh, he ain't, you know, because the article said is Kendrick the best rapper? Kendrick's not the best rapper. Kendrick's the best artist. Period. He's the best hip hop art. He's the best artist. We have like he's not. Don't put him as a rapper because then you're comparing him to the Cardi B's and the Uzi Verts and the friggin' and the Gunnas. Like they're not on a. You know what I mean? Gunna has a song called Push and Pin. To have that song is them humming. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just them humming. Don't put Kendrick on that. That's not fair to Kendrick. That's not even fair to Gunna. You know what I mean? So that's where my head was at. But go ahead, Ken. I wanted to hear. Oh, you go ahead, Rob.
No, go ahead, Ken. You first.
No,
All right. So my respects to Future because Future is first member Dungeon family. Okay. Future has always been Future. He's never changed who he's been. He's never changed his rap style. He's never changed anything. When Future got on, that's what he was.
Right.
Future, and he's created, like we said, a whole new lane. I mean, everybody that you hear doing this melodic thing, because of Future. And as again, me and my younger brother, we have a lot of conversation about music. And he goes, if I want somebody to sing on my track, I'm not gonna get the copycat. I'm just gonna go get the original.
Right.
So let me just go put Future on there. You know what I'm saying? But when I didn't even read the article. I saw the cover and I was like, huh.
Yeah.
So this is what we do?
Yeah.
And then now that I hear that snippet you played, I get it. Because at the moment, Future still drives the numbers.
He still drives content.
He still drives content. And I'm not gonna sit there and say I hate everything, you know, because I do jam to a lot of shit that he puts out.
Yeah.
You know, so when I saw it, I was upset. Then, like you said, I had to take some time to realize what they were talking about.
Yeah. Because
he's not a better MC than J. Cole.
No.
He's not better than Kendrick.
No.
He's not better than, you know, I mean, there's a whole plethora. He's not better than Jay-Z. He's not better than Kanye. There's a whole plethora of things that are rappers that we could put in front of him or MCs in front of him. But I get why they did that because he's still a staple in the game for as long as he's been in it. And he hasn't really changed who he's been.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. What do you think? What's your thoughts, Rob?
Like, so when I saw the Future cover, you know, it's the Alonzo Mourning meme when he's sitting on the bench where he's... At first, it's like, what? But then you just take a second, you're like, okay, all right, I get it. Because I understand that my thought process and what my criteria is as a 38-year-old hip hop fan is not what the criteria that they were talking about in that magazine.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the clip you played further emphasizes that point. We're talking about rappers. So we're talking about the total package.
Yeah.
We're talking about the sales. We're talking about the emotions that they invoke in people. And that's my thing with this generation, where our generation, we wanted not just the emotion that you brought out of us,
right.
but we wanted to hear what you had to say behind it too.
Right. Right.
So
I feel like this, to me, this generation is more on emotion.
No, yeah, this generation is more about rapping.
It's more about feeling
than
just
about like lyricism.
Exactly. It's more about what does this song make me feel?
Yeah.
Does it put me in a vibe? Yeah. Does it put me in a groove?
Right.
That's what this generation's, in my opinion, their highest criteria is based off of. So if that's the case, sure, Future can be on your cover.
But
sure.
I mean, but
now
you guys got.
With that being said,
you guys have sons. You guys got sons the same similar age, and
we do.
To that point, they listen to vibes. Am I right, Ken? Am I right, Rob?
Yeah. They listen to vibes. They are on the vibes. Correct. Correct. Now, so for me, being a 38-year-old male that still wants to listen to that still has a love for hip hop and still wants to hear what's hot right now, I'm gonna give you my top 3 of this era.
Okay.
My top 3 of this era are Kendrick, J. Cole, and Tyler. And that says to you, okay, Rob is still going off of great artists, great musician, as far as like they're really good rappers, but they're all, to me, the best MCs as well as rappers as well. To me, Kendrick, J. Cole, and Tyler are the complete package.
You don't put
Drake in their own shape or form.
You don't put Drake in there?
Hell no. No. Drake.
Why not?
I'm not putting Drake in that top 3 because to me, he's in that side category with Future now. And he's chosen that lane.
Okay.
He's chosen to be in the lane with Future, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. That's fine. You want to focus on record sales, you want to focus on feelings and getting that vibe and people getting that vibe from you. That's perfectly okay.
Okay.
That's not going to qualify for my top 5 right now.
Okay.
So yeah.
What about you, Ken?
My thing with Drake, I just piggyback on that, is he's a chameleon. It's whatever's hot at the time. So he's not willing to, like, he's never taken a chance on the album.
That's my problem with him. Yeah.
Like he's never taken a chance on the album. Kendrick is taking some chances on some music. I mean, To Pimp a Butterfly didn't have a single.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there was a song that was on the radio, but
right.
It ain't a single.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think with Drew, he's what's hot at the time. Let me put the hottest artist, or let me do a song with the hottest artist. And I respect it. Keep my name going. Keep my name in there. Keep my name going. You know what I'm saying? And he's not willing to take a chance. Like Tyler, that Igor album, like Come When You Get Lost is great.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that Igor album is what built his fan base up.
I agree. Yeah.
I will go a step back. I will say even before that, what was the album before the Igor?
I think it was Wolf.
Yeah, Wolf album. Yeah.
No, wait. Flower Boy.
Flower Boy. Flower Boy. Yeah. Because Wolf was before Flower Boy.
I will argue that. Yeah. Because Wolf, he was still like rapping on some wild shit. Yeah. Like Flower Boy.
I agree. I give it that.
in my opinion, when the shift happened for Tyler, and he just brought in a whole nother fan base. Because let's just be honest, females were not listening to Tyler before Flower Boy.
No,
Listen, I
really wasn't listening to it until you put me on the Flower Boy. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
because Rob, we had that. I was like, yo, check out Flower Boy. I was like, yo, that's a hard album.
Yeah,
I was like, that's actually a hard album. So I admit, I wasn't on Tyler early.
Yeah.
Well,
Same
I mean,
here.
look, like for me, I was on Tyler when the whole Odd Future, Earl Sweatshirt, even Frank Ocean, all them were on there because
I was aware of them at the
brother-
time, but I wasn't on them like that.
And again, I have a younger brother, so he was on them, and he was like, "Yo, you need to listen to this Tyler. He say some wild shit now.
Yeah.
He say some wild shit, but he got them bars right.
He
So
do.
I've been on Tyler for a while, and when like Igor wasn't for me, right? Because I just wasn't feeling it. It wasn't for me. But what I noticed and what I saw was after Igor, his fan base blew up after Flower Boy. Listen, I took my daughter to his concert.
Yeah.
There were kids who had Igor wigs on. Like
yeah.
And I ain't even talking about white kids, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were dressing like Tyler. They had little tiny briefcases. Like, yo, whatever he did, it all happened after Igor. Because again, not only is he a good rapper, right? But he's able to tap into like these emotions, these kids, like, the whole emotional emo stuff, whatever that he's able to tap into. And this is, for me, Drake makes good singles, but they're super loose. They're all, to me, I think every track on Drake's album is a Lucy. Everything's a Lucy.
It is a Lucy. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Everything. Like, I'm gonna go in the studio, I will make like 15 Lucy's, and then we'll call it the album.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll call it the album, but we're gonna give you like 6 singles.
Yeah, I agree.
And again, to your point, that's him just knowing the marketplace.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's the way that we consume. A lot of that generation just consumes music now.
Yeah.
It's the playlist generation.
Yeah. Yep.
And again, I ain't mad at Jay. Hey man, do you make that happen?
Right.
At this point right now, he's been 10, 15 years in the game?
Yeah.
Yep.
Or however long he's been in for a minute. You're not trying to change the narrative of who you are as a rapper or as an MC, because you haven't done anything different. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But
go ahead.
Real quick, I got a question. All right, we're talking about rappers who are good rappers and then they sell records. Where do we put a rapper like Eminem?
We had the conversation. I like Eminem, but I was telling Rob before you jumped on that this idea of Eminem is hard for me because Eminem is very one-dimensional for me. But his appeal, I understand his appeal. And there are generations of people who love Eminem. I like Eminem, and I listen to some Eminem songs. My favorite Eminem song actually is "I Am," whatever he said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I sit back and like that.
Whatever you say, I am, and that.
When he hits that flow, it's just like it still goes crazy. Stan still goes crazy. People ever since that song, that's all we call people now. Stan, you a Stan, like, you know what I mean? Like, you Stan,
yeah.
Like,
I mean, that song created a whole new definition.
It created an entire definition of how we define people and how fandom. It's hard for me because I said Eminem. I've never heard anybody say, "Well, you're at a party or at a club, put that Eminem on. Let's rock this club." Like, I've never heard that, and I know that's a very particular, very surface level grading of him, but it's hard for me. Like, the versatility there, it's not there.
I'll take it a step further, Cam.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I played back a whole Eminem album.
Oh, okay. There's that too.
I can't. I recognize it. I always, every time I tell myself, and I know this about myself with him, and every time I tell myself, I'm going to give this album a good, strong chance. I think I always end up listening maybe twice and never coming back to it.
Okay.
But that's my thing. He has, I think, 10 or 11 albums, right?
I don't know how many albums. Yeah.
No,
like
10 or 11. Because I'm an Eminem fan. So for me, and what both of you guys are saying is true, right? Like, you're not going to play an Eminem song at a party.
Right.
Because that's going to ruin the vibe. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know what I'm saying? But again, just like him and Lil Wayne, they've said so much stuff. Like, what is there else to say? Okay. You know, it comes to a point now where you're just putting out music because you just want to put out music.
Right.
And this is where I think when a guy like Kendrick gives you like a 5-year hiatus, that's a reason.
There's a reason for that. Yeah. I appreciate it. So let's get into Kendrick.
Okay.
With the understanding that there will be an entire podcast on that, by the way. I just feel like, you know,
we're just gonna give you the warm up.
This is the warm up, right? Rob, let me let you start it off.
I mean, I feel like I've said on this pod before that the anticipation has never, ever, like, I can't think in the past decade as much anticipation for an album as I can think of this album.
Really?
I truly believe that, because
think about that.
Think about how long we've been waiting and hearing about. We've been hearing about this album since 2020.
No, we've been hearing about this album since 2019.
Since 2019, before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then we chalked up the pandemic to putting it on hold. You don't want to release an album while everybody's inside. That's just, suicide on your career. You can't even tour with it. I get it. And then remember, the conversation was, okay, as soon as we start going back outside, we're gonna get Drake, we're gonna get J. Cole, and we're gonna get Kendrick.
Yeah.
Drake and J. Cole stayed to course.
They did what they did in 2021.
They did what they did in 2021. And so we were like, okay, yeah. All right, Kendrick, your turn.
Yeah.
Hey, Kendrick.
Your turn.
Hit you
Hey,
with the
Kendrick.
Yeah.
There is not a more anticipated album I can think of in the past decade.
I would agree that I would agree. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I've been waiting for an album like this.
Yeah.
I don't think so. In my time.
5 years since we got his last album. And then on top of that, he doesn't even put out Lucy's on top of that.
Yeah. All right. So let me. Oh, sorry, Ken. Do you want to? You have something to say about this?
Oh yeah. All I want to say is, I mean, I don't appreciate him playing the Riddler right now. All these little. Got me searching 378 files.
Yeah. Just to hit the one black file and it's like file not found. Yeah. All right. I didn't set y'all up for this, so I want to ask you, and I'm calling off the cuff. What is your favorite Kendrick song? No, I'm sorry. Before we get into that,
song or album?
No, okay. First, are you what type of Kendrick are you? Are you a Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, Damn, or To Pimp a Butterfly? I think I already know what you are, Rob. I already know what you are, but I still want you to put on wax. There's no wrong answer with this, but I just wanted to ask. I know what you are. You've already told me this.
I know, but again, this is so tough, and now you're making me put it on wax, and I'm mad at you for this.
Nah, that's all good.
For making me put this decision on wax.
You want me to come back to you?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
All right, Good Kid, Mad City, because again, it was my introduction to Kendrick Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know about Section 80 at first. I didn't know about the mixtapes at first. My introduction to Kendrick was Good Kid, Mad City. And I can specifically remember at that time, I was actually going to Miami to meet up with my cousin and a couple of the homies.
Yeah.
And it is exactly when Good Kid, Mad City came out in 2012. And all I remember is, so because at that time I was still living in Orlando, so they were flying in from DC.
Mm-hmm.
I drove down from Orlando so we could use my whip to ride around Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, yo, Rob, who is this that you're playing?
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time we're cruising down Sunset and everything, it's like they're bobbing their heads. And I'm like, I know, right?
Right.
I know, right?
Like, yeah.
This is like, there are only so many albums that invoke a specific memory of where I was, what I was doing when that album came out.
Yeah.
So yes, for me, Good Kid, Mad City is my number one because of the personal attachment that I have to it.
Okay. All right.
And yes, so there it is.
Okay, we'll go back to what your favorite Kendrick song is. Ken, which one are you? Which Kendrick are you?
Pimp a Butterfly.
Pimp a Butterfly. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
You want to expound on why, or just you want to just leave it at that?
Because I've never. First of all, he had one of my favorite rappers on his album throughout the whole album.
Yeah.
Tupac, of course.
Yeah.
And then the way he interlaced that into his album was, to me, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was that. And I felt like the Pimp a Butterfly was grown. Because again, I'm listening to Kendrick from Section 80 to overly dedicated.
Yeah.
Unlike Rob, who his first experience is with Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah.
For me, Good Kid, Mad City was more, hey, Dr. Dre Productions on here, or he had that Dr. Dre touch to it, so it was a little bit more
polished.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the production was a little bit better.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say better; it was just more polished, right?
Yeah.
But good. To Pimp a Butterfly was so different from all his other stuff, and it was personal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that shit was like, it was personal. And you know what I'm saying? It was like, and I felt every song on there.
Okay. All right.
And that. But my favorite song of his is not on that album.
Oh, okay. What's your favorite song?
Oh, Money
Trees. Okay.
Money. Okay.
So let me say this. It's with anybody who knows me knows, and even if you look at my damn podcast art, you can see what album is on there. There's 3 albums on there. There's Coltrane, which I highlighted last week, right? Off the Wall, my favorite Michael Jackson album, and then To Pimp a Butterfly. Those are and I have other vinyls, but those are the albums I love. I go back to all the time, and to me, I love Section 80. I love Good Kid, Mad City. But I love To Pimp a Butterfly because it was nothing I heard from Kendrick do before. It was so.
Wait, hold on. Stop for a second. You trying to tell me you don't have an album from your favorite artist on there?
What are you talking about?
Jay-Z? You say Jay-Z?
No, no.
On your cover art?
I have albums. Listen,
yeah,
we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. Those albums actually. There's a reason why those 3 albums are on there. By the way,
I'm just messing.
I know you are. But but The Pimp a Butterfly was so vastly different than everything that I was used to, and that I was expecting. Especially, I thought he was going to come up. It would have been easy for him to pivot from Good Kid, Mad City and then do the same linear sound. I actually think Damn is a cousin to Good Kid, Mad City, than To Pimp a Butterfly, and that's not a shot at Damn is still a phenomenal album, but I just felt like that album was just, it sonically was and emotionally was so different that I was like, Jesus, this kid is the GOAT. Like, I can't even front. Like, through, and the way he weaves it's a concept album that he weaves an entire story throughout, that is just beautifully, and it attacks, it's very, so here's the thing, boom, here it is. Where Good Kid, Mad City was an evaluation of a person who was coming up in an environment, a harsh environment, To Pimp a Butterfly was an evaluation of Black people as a whole, and our space in white America, and how we viewed our space. And then Damn was a more internal album of how he viewed himself and how the world perceived him. So you see that? Like, so Good Kid, Mad City was like, I'm talking about Compton and the life and the things I've experienced in Compton. To Pimp a Butterfly was like, I'm talking about Black people, and it was more or less, it was a bigger conversation for us to kind of look at, like, how, like, hood politics, you know what I'm saying, institutionalized complexion, you know what I mean, like Wesley's theory, like all these things, you know, it spoke about the diaspora. It talked about the Black diaspora, whereas Damn talked about what am I doing in my life and how people view me. And that's what I looked, and that's how I view these kids. So I'm excited to see this new person that we're gonna see in a few weeks. Like, what is he gonna talk about now? Right? And that's because they're like, what is he gonna touch on? You know, that's gonna make us pierce through the album. You know, because there's a lot that he could speak about. So what is he gonna focus in on at this point? And I think that's why Damn actually received a Pulitzer, because it was like such an internalized album. Like, so we're gonna talk about favorite Kendrick song. It's a toss for me, but it's funny. Although To Pimp a Butterfly is my favorite album, Sing About Me, Dying of Thirst is his best song.
Bruh, that's mine. That is mine as well.
That is
an excellent song.
I had no idea you were going to say that, but that's what I had queued up.
That's my favorite. And to the point where Think About Me, Dying of Thirst is something like, it's almost like that should have been on To Pimp a Butterfly.
But it could have been.
Here's the thing about
it. Could have, honestly, it could have been on Damn.
It could have been on Damn. Like, it's such a timeless song. It's such an incredible song, and it's in 3 parts. It tells 3 stories, and it's such a beautiful. It's like a movie. It's like like a novel. You're like you're like listening to a novel in like 8 minutes.
But here's the thing about that song. It's a continuation from
Keisha's story on on Section 80.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
And so, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's such a great storyteller. He's such a great storyteller, man. And so I don't care. People call me a stan, whatever like that. But like, for me, Kendrick he's it. He's the person. He's the guy.
You know. But again, so now let's think about this for a second, all right?
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna give us this album right here.
Yeah.
That's gonna give him 5 albums.
Yeah.
That he's done.
7.
Right? No.
Yeah.
Are we including? We're including Section 80. We're including
One, two,
well, yeah, okay.
Overly Dedicated.
6,
Yeah, okay. I wasn't counting
7,
Black
8.
Panther. Wasn't counting.
It's gonna be 8 albums, actually, technically speaking.
And I guess you want to count the unreleased joints. I guess
Untitled is still a phenomenal. It's only 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Entitled. So I guess you can say he has 8 under his belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. But then again, so he's giving us quote unquote 8 albums. If he stops right now, you have enough songs in his collection to ride out for forever.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And this is when he said this, like when he said this is my last album on TDE. I actually think it's his last album, period. Yeah, because he might do one on that. Was it KP Lang?
Yeah, KP Lang. Yeah.
He might put one out there because, of course, that's his thing. So let's do that.
Right.
But at the same time, you sit there and go, all right, because it took 5 years to get this. It's gonna take to get the next one.
Yeah.
This is where Kendrick kind of reminds me of Andre 3K, where he's very strategic, and I think it's kind of like a day by day basis kind of thing. So today he may say, you're right, Ken. I don't know if he'll put out another album after this one, but something happens in his life and he says, and it just kind of sparks that plug, and it sparks that fire that gets him going. But if nothing happens that sparks that fire, you're right, we may not get another album from him. And I think that's just how kind of Kendrick's mind works and how strategic he is. To Cam's point, every album has a clear theme to it and a clear direction.
Yeah.
If Kendrick doesn't feel like he's going to have a clear direction in the album, he's not going to release it. He's not going to do what Drake and Lil Wayne did.
Right.
He's just not going to release it.
Right. So, sorry. Just talking about, like, okay, we talk about To Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick album. What's your favorite song on each of his albums? I'm making it a little easier.
Okay.
I'll start.
Okay. I already said Money Trees. Oh, go ahead, Rob. Sorry.
Yeah. So already said Good Kid, Mad City, Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst. That song is just.
You gotta talk about High Power? I mean, Section 80, excuse me. I already kind of told what
you want to go back to this? Okay. You already gave yours.
Yeah.
So, all right. So out of Section 80, honestly, actually, I think Tammy's song is my favorite. Out of Section 80.
Yeah.
It is such a beautiful story.
Yeah.
Tammy's song I think is very telling, and it's a very poignant to how a lot of young women.
You mean Keisha's song?
Hmm?
Keisha's song. That's what we're talking about.
No, I'm talking about. I know the difference. Nope, I'm talking about Tammy's song. I listen to Tammy's song more than I listen to Keisha's song.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Wow. Most people don't. They usually go back to Keisha's song.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Off of To Pimp a Butterfly, The Black or the Berry.
Okay.
Yeah. It just invokes something in me.
Yeah, that's my
every
favorite.
time I hear it.
That's my favorite on To Pimp a Butterfly, The Black or the Berry.
Yeah, The Black or the Berry. It's just so black, and I love it.
Yeah.
On Damn, I want to say Love. I think Love.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So my favorite one on Section 80 is High Power. I love that song, High Power. It's just it's an incredible record. I know it's an easy one because everybody knows that song, but I just love listening to that. It's on my playlist. Like I can recite that song bar for bar, Obviously on Good Kid, Mad City, we talked about Dying of Thirst, Sing About Me, Dying of Thirst. To Pimp a Butterfly, I always go between Institutionalized and Blackberry, but I'm going to say it's Blackberry. And then for Damn, Fear.
Okay.
Fear is probably his top 3 song. It's
by whose standards?
I don't know. For me, I just love Fear. Like it's such a great.
Okay, by yours. Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
I just think Fear is just like, I don't know. It's such a well written song, and it's just like he talks about what it's like for him and his own insecurities, and like it's such a very authentic song.
very introspective song.
Very introspective song, and it's like he goes there with himself, and he doesn't take anything off the table, you know, and he still interplays it with how he sees himself in the world and how the world. It's a Jahari Window song. How he sees himself, how he thinks the world sees himself, how he wants the world to see him, and how he really is. You know, and I think that's really what I love about Fear. And I think that's really what got him to Pulitzer. Like when you look at that, it's really just that song is the song I think that centers the entire album. You know, it's the emotional focus of the album for me. But anyway, Ken, what about you?
Section 80, there's two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Is the first track, Fuck Your Ethnicity. I can't even say the word, but Fuck Your Ethnicity.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just feel like sometimes, you know, it's really ain't about what you think it is, you know what I'm saying? But that one and Rigor Mortis, because I just like the way he flowed on Rigor Mortis.
Oh yeah, Rigor Mortis. Yeah.
True.
Just the way he was just the rapping style and the beat, the whole thing about Rigor Mortis. It was that one. Good Kid, Mad Seed, I already told you.
Money Trees, yeah.
Money Trees. Really, it's really because of J-Rock.
Yeah, J-Rock bodies that song.
Yeah.
It's
It's really because of J-Rock.
Yeah.
To Pimp a Butterfly. Yeah. How much does a dollar cost?
Yeah, that's actually,
How much does a dollar cost? Because it makes you wonder about what, that's not me, you know. Yeah, how much is it worth not giving that person the dollar?
Yeah.
They may or may not even be needing it, but if you see it on the corner and they're out there doing that, if I have it, what am I going to do with this dollar? What, go buy a soda?
Yeah.
Go buy shit. I can't even buy a soda with $1.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, what does it cost me to give him that $1?
Yeah.
You know, and I just like, you ain't got a lot of kick it.
Yeah.
I just like the fact that you ain't got a lot of kick it.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, more than man at the end of the day, because it's just the fact that he has that long Tupac. But Damn, I don't have a favorite song on Damn.
What's your go-to when you do listen to that? What would be the track that you would go to first?
I usually just play it out, and then, well, let's put it. The songs I skip is what they play on the radio. Yeah, maybe Pride.
Okay.
I like Pride.
Okay. Yeah.
I like Pride. I like Yeah. But again, that's more there's more just production element of it. Right. I think I like Pride.
Okay.
Because Loyalty I usually skip because that's with Rihanna.
Yeah, I don't yeah.
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 You know, and then like Humble. Yeah.
I like Humble. I just got tired of listening to it.
I got tired of listening to it.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I think Pride.
Yeah.
So
all right, listen. So give you all your final thoughts on, we talked about a lot of things, talked about Andre, talked about the GOAT discussion, talked about hip hop in general. Rob, I'm gonna let you start it off with your final thoughts, and then Ken, and then I'm gonna close it out.
All right, yeah. So final thought is, hey, art is art.
Mm-hmm.
Music is art. It's subjective.
Yeah.
You know, there are certain moments in your life, depending on what era and what time and when you were born, that are going to resonate with you more than someone else. Just respect that. We can have debates. Debates are fun. Debates are, entertaining. But, just respect the fact that what your experiences were and what music does to you in your life may not necessarily quantify for somebody else.
Yeah.
But, but at the same time, it's fun. It's fun to debate. It's fun to go back and forth. And because I like debating, because maybe I hear an opinion that I didn't think about, and it makes me actually want to reconsider. Maybe, you might get me to actually maybe change my position a little bit based on a rebuttal to what I may have said or something, vice versa. So, yeah. So for all that, just, keep an open mind when it comes to music and this thing that we love called hip hop. And then finally, Kendrick, I can't wait for this album.
Yeah.
This album I am going to consume this album. I'm like going to lock myself in a room for like a whole weekend and consume this album before I even want to mention it. I need to consume it for at least 3 days before I even speaking on it.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm going to leave that.
Yeah. What about you, Ken?
Pretty much everything Rob said, but I love rap music. I love it. Good, bad, whatever. I really love hip hop. I really love rap music. And this is where, like Rob said, with the debates they're important to have, because everybody has a different eye or ear to, what they're listening to. And like I said, it's subjective, but at the end of the day, I'm always going to be a big fan of rap, hip hop, whatever you want to call it. And, it's up to us to continue to say, hey, this is what because each of us has our own different perspective of what's good and what's bad. So it's up to us to have these conversations so we can say, hey, like Rob said, you know what? Maybe you give me a different perspective. Maybe you do give me a different idea. I have a 10-year-old son that listens to music that I think is terrible. but I have to have a conversation with him about, why do you like it? What does it do for you?
Right.
And he thinks some of my stuff I listen to is like, this is not good. Why are they saying so many words?
Right.
So again, I love rap. I love hip hop. I'm not even going to talk about Kendrick until I hear it. And just like Rob, he said 3. I might need to give 5. I might need to just be stuck in a room with the headphones, just listen to that before I can even talk on it.
Yeah.
But no, man, just like I said, art, music, all of it's subjective. Enjoy it, respect everybody's opinion, and keep it moving.
Okay. So obviously I gotta do my love letter. So, dear Black people, we just had a fun and expansive conversation on hip hop. And listen, not all my podcasts are designed to solve world problems and talk about the timely issues of our time, of our day, but some are just flat out fun. And I hope you had fun today, because I think that's what we did today. Through it all, I hope it was evident how much I love this thing of ours. And I call it ours because hip hop was literally birthed out of the American urban Black experience. And who would have thought that a fad art form that would impact the world as it did, but it still has a beauty to it that is so authentically Black and so undeniably powerful. Is it really it's like really the fundamental premise of my podcast, really? Because like, think about it. This is a Black-centered podcast, and hip-hop is Black-centered. This love affair hip hop will never change with me. I love it deeply. I used to think that, as I said in the podcast, I'm going to grow out of it, but nah, this thing stuck to my bones like the sinew of blood tissue. And I will legit be a fly-dressed 75-year-old man at a hip hop concert for someone who's most likely a third my age. And you know what? I'm okay with that, because, love doesn't have an expiration date. And my love for hip hop will never go stale. So with that being said, I couldn't think of a better ride out song for this podcast. And if you listened all the way through, appreciate it. And we gonna ride it out.